Barca fans, we seriously don't understand how financially unstable Barcelona is, honestly, and we still find happiness in this kind of situation. Both Barca and the fans. Last season was very much blistering for us. We had a beautiful season, and we are still in financial issues, financial crisis. Barcelona is seriously financially sick. The only picture of how broke we are that we know is the fact that we cannot easily sign players, we cannot easily register our players. Most of our players took pay cuts. You understand? Some of our players had to leave, the likes of Lionel Messi, and all that. That is the only picture of how broke we are that we know. That's just the much we know about how financially unstable that we are. But I came across some news, yesterday and today, and I was in shock. Honestly. Now, this news says Barcelona announced they have successfully refinanced over 40% of the Espai Barca debt on a long-term basis. Now, this debt was supposed to be due by 2028, and this debt amounts to about 424 million euros, thereabouts. This Espai Barca debt, it is an Espai Barca project that incorporates the expansion of Camp Nou, also some other sporting Barcelona projects like the renovation of Joan Cruyff Sporting Center and other Barcelona sporting centers. But I think the expansion of Camp Nou is the major part of this debt. Now, Barcelona has refinanced this debt, 40% of this debt, just so we can buy more time. What they just did was just to buy more time. Now, this debt was supposed to be due by 2028, and we are supposed to return to Camp Nou by 2026. Although we are returning this year, even though it is yet to be completed. But the plan was for Barcelona to return back to Camp Nou by 2026 and then start repaying the debt up until 2028. But right now, Barcelona has just bought more time for themselves. They are going to start repaying the debt by 2033, and they're going to stretch it up until 2050, just to give us the leverage to be able to compete with clubs like Real Madrid and the rest, just for us to look financially stable at this moment. That is why Barcelona bought so much time, stretched it over that long period of time, so that we can look stable, so that we can pay it without feeling the heat. And right now we are returning back to Camp Nou by August, and little by little the Camp Nou will be completed. That is just a glimpse of how broke we are financially. Barcelona had to buy time to pay off their debt. Now, this debt is going to stretch from 2033 up until 2050. Do you know what it means for you to owe? Like you're owing and you're yet to start paying your debt, and you're going to start by 2033 and we'll finish by 2050. That is huge. That is massive. And the aim is just to make us look stable at this moment, so that we don't find it difficult going head to head with likes of Real Madrid in the transfer market when it comes to finances. The other day, Bilbao went to La Liga to remind them that we are not financially stable to make some purchases, because we are going for their player Nico Williams. That is to show you how bad it is for us. Now, not only this, I came across another news that says Barca have finally settled their debt with Messi, Umtiti, Coutinho, Koeman, and the rest of the 2020 squad. The final payment of the deferred salaries, amounting to 16 million euros, will be made on June 30th, that is tomorrow, and has already been authorized by the club's financial department. Now, back in 2020, the majority of the Barca squad agreed to defer their salaries. You're hearing it. In total, the deferred salaries figure reached 121.7 million euros. Barca decided that this amount would be paid in 8 installments in December of 2021, 2022, 23, 24, and in June of 2022, 2023, 2024, and 2025. So the final payment outlined in the agreement is scheduled for June 30th, 2025. So Barcelona is just, clearing the debt of the 2020 squad. You can hear the names that was mentioned: Messi, Umtiti, Coutinho, Coman, and the rest. And this other news, gives us the exact amount that Barcelona is owing these players. Now, Lionel Messi was the player owed the highest amount with 47.6 million euros of his salary deferred. Only 5.96 million euros remains outstanding, which will be paid by tomorrow, which is June 30th. Now, Coman was owed 6 million in total, and his staffs less than 1 million. Other players with significant deferred sums include Coutinho. His amount is undisclosed, but I think there is a news that disclosed it. Coutinho's amount is about 854,794 euros. Now, Coutinho, Umtiti 9.9, Dembele 5.1, Pjanic 5.1, Sergio Roberto 4.8, Neto 2.8, Dest 1.3, Braithwaite 1.2, and Junior Firpo 1.1. For players like Alena, Matheus Fernandes, Pedri, Trincao, Ansu Fati, Ronald Araujo, and Ricky Puig, the deferred amounts were all under 1 million euros. You can see for yourself. Or more honestly, Barcelona is in serious financial crisis. Like, we are just smiling based on the fact that we can't cry. We just have to keep pushing. Honestly, look at the number of players that Barcelona are still owing. Salaries of 2020 season, you can imagine. And thankfully the salaries are going to be cleared tomorrow, being June 30th, so that we can face what is facing us. So this is just a picture of how broke, of how financially sick Barcelona is. But then gradually we'll return back to our normal self. But for the fact that there is a debt that will be completed by 2050 tells you, how broke, how financially unstable Barcelona is. And the fact that we still find reasons to be happy. The club also, is a very happy club. Makes me wonder the kind of club this is and the kind of fans this club has. This news is really, really shocking, and honestly, we are in serious financial issues. And thankfully, we have a president like Joan Laporta. He's doing a great job. And for him to understand that he can actually stretch this debt over a long period of time tells you how smart he is, because that is the best way Barcelona can go about this debt. And hopefully in future we can get out of this and return back to being the Barcelona we used to be. Thank you.